personality, an academician, educationist, and a well-known theatrist who the Goan society is well versed with, and an ex-MLA, many things on his background, which at this point, since we are running short of time, I will not be able to give you in details. And in this session, we have 3 paper presenters. One is Mr. Dr. Royan. He is an engineer by profession and has been lecturing in various colleges and institutes in Delhi, and has a very close attachment with students and youth, and would be present and is currently a professor for Bible Research Studies, that is an online lecturing course. After him would be Mrs. Sarita Shirodkar. She is a social activist and is working with families who are affected due to alcohol, and is again a civil engineer by profession, working for the government of Goa. And the third paper presentation on health and rehabilitation will be presented by Dr. Rajesh Patil. He is the consultant for cancer and laparoscopic surgeon, and is currently the associate professor at the Department of Surgery, GMC. May I request the chairperson of this session, Mr. Tomazino Cardozo, to kindly please come to the desk, and I request the paper presenters also to take their seats on the desk. Mr. Dr. Royan, Mrs. Sarita Shirodkar, and Dr. Rajesh Patil.
Dear friends, in fact, we are going to participate in a very important session. Alcoholism and drug abuse, the impact of it on one society. As you know, there are 3 papers to be presented, and the first paper is being presented by Dr. Royan. Let us first observe carefully what is being presented, and also all these sessions I think will be effective and meaningful only if whenever there is interaction time we interact. Let us be prepared for interaction also. So Dr. Ryan.
Thanks. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I pray and I begin that this revelation that I received in my life was from God, and I believe that it would help each and every person who are here in this place, and we can henceforth from here thereby will take it to them. And I pray that there's not anyone who would be affected by the words which I speak, and if so, please forgive me. Sometimes we are in a society fighting against evil at all times. As much as good is living with us, evil also exists along with us. And now, the evil is taking its course in Goa at its peak. Whatever that has happened here for us in the state of Goa cannot be undone, but at the same time, it can be controlled or restricted from going further into a worse situation. So that's the reason that we are here gathered together, trying to bring a little bit of awareness in our lives and see what are the possibilities that we can explore in a communal living, a community together, what we can offer each other and what kind of service we can render each other to help them out. Is that okay? Okay. Evils of the society among the middle class, the students and the youth at its peak, a very big risk that we are going. Who is responsible? Should we blame the society? Or should we blame the parents? Or the culture which is existing in the form of drinking, smoking, and it's a fad, it's a fantasy that anybody who takes a cup and says cheers, they belong to the elite crowd, the society, the economy. Today the tourism industry in Goa, lots of lives are depending on it. Lots of people, those who are with the restaurant business and bar businesses and hotel industries, all have to do with and work with, cater, drinks, in serving people, everything to do with alcohol. Is it by doing something against this kind of subject that we are trying to do, is it going to affect the economy of a lot of people's businesses and livelihoods? Or is it just only a fashion? Or an employment problem? If all the hotels and bars and the institutions like the casinos and different things that are existing, institutions that are existing, if it is going to be closing down or if it is going to be affected with alcohol and drugs and gambling, will the lives of those employees in those institutions, will it be affected? Problems, family problems. Husband drinking, the wife drinking, the children drinking, nobody cares for each other, living a life of their own. Every individual person lives for themselves, saying in the name of all for themselves and God for all. Ethics. If somebody comes to the house for Christmas, for New Year, or for celebration, if they come, offer them a drink. Is that what you call culture? Is that what you call fad? All kind of lifestyles. Now, you can keep on going into areas which you cannot even think of doing. But the moment when you enter inside, then you will start realizing that we can keep on naming each and every little situation that it is going to be an instrument in harming the society. You keep naming whatever problems we face in the day-to-day life. Let's see what we have at our hand. A major threat which is destroying the lives of many, livers of many. Lots of problems. Let's see what we can contribute to the city so that the society can live peacefully. We could live peacefully. If you could see there in the picture, these are not make-believe pictures, but they are gathered together from the society. The world is so vindictive, everything is there. It is posted on the internet. Young children smoking, chasing, drugs. Fellows drinking and lying down in the toilet, not even able to stand. pregnant mothers drinking, not bothered about what is going to be the future of that child that she is carrying. Children were just behind the public school, behind the buses. They are exchanging drugs for cash. The moment when it comes into addiction, as earlier the doctor had mentioned it, that it starts with smoking and then it leads to drugs. The moment when it starts, when they go into drugs, because the same amount of drugs that they are taking is not sufficient for them. So automatically they want to go for a higher and a stronger and a heavier dose. And they know that it is not going to work in their body because the body is immune to it. So automatically they want to try something new. Nothing is satisfying for them. So automatically they end up taking injections. And that injections will spread from one to another. And people, those who are having different other problems, be it AIDS or prostitution or whatever that they have, they might be passing it on through the drugs to other people, which we all are aware of it. But what are we doing? What are we doing about it? If you take 2009 records, I've taken all these sources from Hindustan Times and different other websites, and it has recorded the United Nations has taken preventive measures to curb the youth from taking drug addictions in India, and that particular project was called G86. How many of you are aware of it? And it is started in 200 different villages all over in the north, but today we do not know the existence, whether it's still functioning, whether it's not functioning, and we are not aware of it. But a new drug which has come in the market, everybody will be aware. A new liquor that has come in the market, everybody will be aware. And a new thing, anything that gives an intoxication, anything that takes you to a different level of worldly satisfaction for a temporary period, they are all out in the market. And heavy amount of advertisements are there. But when it comes to projects like this, how many of us are aware of it? So that we can reach out for help. Please go through it. And according to the survey that has been taken, the people those who are involved into drug addictions and into any kind of habits are all the teenagers starting from 13 to 14 and 15 years onwards. The teenage period, the adolescence period, very, very, very vulnerable period. And nobody wants to take time to think about whether this is going to help the society or not. You will see yourself, most of the children that have been there, the photographs which are taken, and they are not posing for it. It has become a fashion and a fantasy that when they sit with studies, they take a smoke in their mouth, a cloud of smoke around them. They think that they are gods. They think that it's a fashion. And the parents, as they come to know the children is smoking, and for a while they will try to restrict it, and after some time they are aware, oh, he smokes, what we can do? I tell him 100 times, but he's not listening. They take it so easy. But in the end, they are the sufferers to lose the dear ones. Now, it seems that effort to reach out to the parents is considered crucial by one Mr. Deepak Rehja, because he is one of the project person from G86, and he says sometimes when the school teachers are finding someone in the school smoking in the toilet or in the playground, in the back behind the school, or in the place where they park the cycles and all, if they send the message to the school, the message is not reaching the parents because the students are not taking the thing. So it is our duty to make sure the teacher, like the doctor had mentioned earlier, that the teacher should work together along with the students and the parents. The parents and the teachers together should work like a family for the students. The teachers may be paid to do their work, but we have to know that they cannot do much. Don't expect the teachers to do everything. When a slight correction is made by the teachers, the students go and complain. Immediately the parents come fighting for their son. How dare you talk to my son like that? How dare you touch my son like that? But because he said, an element of strictness and rigidity and a firm hand is needed. It's required in the house. If the parents cannot touch their child, nobody can touch. Because everywhere the rules and regulations and the laws are governing, saying that you should not hurt the child. Nobody wants to hurt the child. Because the word of God also says, spare the rod and spoil the child. If you are not correcting your child, that means you do not love your child. You think that just because you are very nice and loving and kind and gentle to your child is just the same what she is or he is in the house than the same way she is in the school or he is in the school? No way. Totally they have a different personality. How many of you are having enough time to spend with your children? Today we are blaming the society, we are blaming the people, the government which is given laws and not enforcing them. We are blaming on a lot of things, the people outside, the authorities, the agencies, the school, the teachers, the institutions, the headmasters, the headmistress, the principals, and the guides and the supervisors, the company officers, the bosses, everybody we blame that they are not implementing the rule, they are not. Are we doing it? In what way are we contributing to the society? The thing is, how many of us are having the time to spend with our children? Today, if you go, each and every home will be very much engrossed into the idiot box, the screen, the television. All watching the serial, one after the other. 9:30 another serial, 10:30 another serial, 11 o'clock another serial, 11:30 another serial, and then 1 or 2 hours break, and they'll have a movie, and then again another serial begins. And it goes on till the night. And the mothers and the sisters and the wives and children, those who are in the house, they are glued to the television. They do not know what the children is doing in the other room. The parents, the father, those who are going to work, they think that they are the breadwinners of the family. Yes, well and good. You are breadwinners. Unlike most people, those who are lazy here and go, there are many of us, those who are working very hard from morning 9 to late night, 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, and they come home without even food. They may not have lunch as well. But they think that they are working very hard. But unfortunately, is there anyone who can say, I have spent a lot of time. I may be able to give them only a kanji or a meal, food, 1 meal a day. But I spend a lot of quality time with my children, with my family. Can anybody say that? Because we are self-centered. We are worried about our future. Only the money part of it. We are not worried about the future of the children. Many of my friends and my relatives are all having businesses. They are having hotel industry, they are having different types of institutions, businesses. Some of them are having bars, some of them are having pubs, and some of them are, they may not drink, but they are serving drinks for everyone. And they make money. What am I doing for? I'm doing it for y'all only. I'm doing it for y'all. I'm getting all this money for you only. You are complaining that I'm not there. Then otherwise you will not be able to enjoy. You will not be able to have a vehicle. You will not be able to have a motor car. You will not be able to have a big bungalow and a swimming pool, everything inside. But today they think that they are providing everything except love. The children, those who miss out on love from home, they miss out on everything and they are in the wrong hands. If the parents are spending time with the children, youngsters at a very tender age, spending lots of time with the children, giving them simple games in the house, a simple game in the house, telling the son, do this, do that. Okay, now I'll give you a choice of 2. What game shall you play, this or that? Okay, shall we go to this place or that place? Shall we go for this movie or that movie? You are helping them to make decisions at a younger age with guidance. Don't give too many choices. What would you like to wear? This or that? What kind of thing would you like to purchase? This or that? When you give them a choice, you are treating them as equal and they get it registered. And how this will help, this is going to help them in this way in the future, that they will be able to make a wise decision. Instead of buying 10 different toys, they will go for something one, which may be something sensible, something good enough, something intellectual, something it'll help them. So you are teaching the child at a very young age to be independent, at the same time to make a wise choice of decision. Now, instead of doing all those things, instead of the father doesn't spend the time with the children, the son or the daughter, and the mother doesn't spend the time with the children, they're busy in the cooking, in the kitchen, or watching television, or going for work. I have to correct, very humbly I'm correcting a statement. I would like to correct the statement which was made by Dr. Sarkar when he mentioned, I was observing very great amount of points he had mentioned, and he had covered almost everything whatever I wanted to talk. But then there's something, he said, the first 10 years, the parents are spending time with the children, isn't it? And the second 10 years or 15 years, the teachers are spending. The first 10 years, I fail to understand how most of the parents are spending time. Because some of them are working, they even leave them in the creche. Children to be looked after, even while they are infants. Where will the child grow with love and concern and a compatibility and the togetherness, the bonding between the father and the mother and the children? They fight with each other in front of the children. You do not have respect for the children. And that is resulting in the child is lost at a very tender age. Lack of love is the root of all evil, which makes a person, a child, starting to look for things which are missing in their lives, in the wrong places, with the wrong people, and in the wrong timing. At a very vulnerable age, they are into different situations. Look at this. The companionship that they are growing is with people, those who are affected in life already. They will look for companies. Birds of feather flock together. If I can find some sort of company and friendship in something which is giving me pleasure, and at home I go, nobody is there to bother whether I am eating or sleeping or coming or playing or what. And if I ask, they provide me everything. Very good father and mother. They give me everything I want. That is what the children will say. My father was a retired school headmaster. Now he's no more. But during his days, we are 5 brothers. And he used to struggle very hard to give me the best. And within his means, an ordinary simple school headmaster, 5 brothers, and he gave everybody equally the best of his time, the best of values, ethics, behavior, morality, character. It built up. Today what I am, it's because God gave me a good set of parents. And I used it. I had very good bonding with my parents. My brother was sent to hostel thinking that he would be given best education. Unfortunately, the companionship that he had and lack of love from the parents, because he chose the kind of friends that he lived with. All his friends went to college, he also went to college. He also went and joined the hostel, stayed in the hostel. He learned everything. Today, he's having a problem with alcohol. So I can understand the first-hand experience of what he has gone through. Today I'm able to talk much because I know how it is affecting. It has affected his marriage. He's landed in divorce. I'm not here to talk about my brother's life, but I'm trying to give you an example which is a reality which is happening here. What do we do at home? Are we setting an example? When somebody comes, we offer them a drink. Can we say no to it? This is culture. Would you like to have wine? Would you like to have champagne? Oh, we have some scotch. This is the kind of language they have. Should I make it a small? Should I make it a large? I heard with my own ears, and that is pathetic. We call it culture. Parties and dinners accompanied with alcohols. Parents having drinks in front of the children. How many of you respect the children and do not drink or smoke in front of them? You think, they are children. Hey, go on that side. I am sitting with my friends. I'll talk to you later. You don't come this side. You'll play later. You are treating them like a third-class citizen because your friends, those who are drinking with you, they are first in your lives. And it is very, very sad. When I say you, what are we doing about it? That is the question that we have to ask. Encouraging a little beer and wine would do nothing. That is what the father or the mother will say. And they have a little, and they also give the children a little, so that nothing is sin in their eyesight. Nothing is wrong. Once when you put that idea, nothing is wrong in the sight, in the idea of the children, and the children think that, we have at home, it's okay. When we are going for parties and things like that, my parents also have, and they used to give us also something, so let me have a drink. And when the children get drunk, they lose that senile. They become senile. They lose the sensibility. And automatically, they start doing things which are wrong. Half naked, or fully, or say nasty, dirty things, crack stupid jokes, which can bring down their morality. Jay said, the other gentleman from when he mentioned that when you lose the morality, that you're dropped from that level, he said. So what are we doing? We are losing our morality by losing our senses for just a small period. I hope I'm not delaying further. Just give me another few minutes. We are dropping down from the pedestal where we are supposed to be. Now, once when you lose your character, once when you lose your morality, once when you come down from the particular level, automatically you start doing things which are wrong. What we can see with love, you start seeing with lust. A person who drinks, may he drink to want to have a sleep or wanting to have tiredness or whatever it is. But nowadays people are drinking because they want to get intoxicated, they want to get kick in their heads. In the end, they get a kick from their family. Now, what is that we are leaving behind this Goa? Are we leaving productivity, creativity, or we are leaving a destroyed society? If you look at this one, it says, first a person is unwell and he goes and has, for experimental, they take a smoke or a drink. Then they feel that it is good and they start using it once in a while. And then the addiction makes it become a ritual and this craving starts. And once when the craving starts, they know that they cannot get out of it. Then automatically they get to the part which is guilt. And now that they have become addicted and they have started getting that guilt, now I don't have a future, so let me do what I have to do. Then they start using it again. So it is a vicious cycle that is going on and on. Addiction. Now, according to, I'm talking about 1970. This record has been taken from 1970, from the net. India stands in the production of opium production 925 to 950 metric tons, and that is in 1970. And imagine 30 years have gone by, 40 years have gone by. What is going to be the state right now? If you look at it, every boy or girl in the picture from the college levels, they get drunk, they abuse their body, they abuse one another, they abuse their parents, they abuse their friends in the forms. Automatically it becomes a physical. It can become in a physical assault as a violence or an abuse in the form of sexual assault. And all are caused because of the evil thinking once when the outside influence goes inside. Now, alcohol consumption in any amount was considered a taboo in those days by Indian women. But today, the history has taken us somewhere totally way beyond. Research on drinking patterns among women generally shows that women are less drinkers than men. But not anymore. As the modernization has entered the era, women have started drinking equally, maybe even more than the male counterparts. Because this thing has been taken from www.narewomen's website.com. And from there I have taken, the sources are there, down below. It's an alarming situation that is existing in Bangalore. The situation is alarming, says Manoj Devanand. He is the co-founder for the Miracle Foundation in Bangalore. And addiction, he's got the addiction center for women because women do not have any other very specialized felicitation in any other place to help themselves out of the misery. And it is available in Bangalore, and the name of it is Miracle Foundation. And he says, 2-3 years back, that in 2010, it says, there's 21% increase in his sales. Who the next person is saying? 21. And even one of the, a waiter in a hotel, 5-star hotel lobby, he happens to tell statements, things which are, that I do not understand how they can do such a thing. And the statements made by them are recorded. And it's recorded, video recorded as well. You can find it on the YouTube. Now there is the CEO, Mr. Kalyan Ganguly of a brewery. Yes, sir. So now with all these things, I would like to just conclude that there is a very, very big possibility of we losing Goa. Goa will be lost if we allow the evil of the society to continue. And if there is anything that we can do to help it, let's do it together. And whatever this has started up by this organization, Jamaat-e-Hind, I believe and I pray that God help all of us through different organizations like this, that more work can be done together in hand and trying to help the society, that the society will be helped and not in an adverse way. God bless all of you in Jesus' name.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Van. Now I would request Srimati Sarita Shirorkar to present her paper on family life and women. Dr. Srimati Sarita Shirorkar.
Good afternoon everyone. I am Sarita Shirorkar and I am here to speak on impact of alcoholism on Goan society, and my topic is family life and women. According to the dictionary, alcoholism is defined as a diseased condition due to the excessive use of alcoholic beverages. Alcoholics can be of any age, background, income level, social or ethnic group. Very often, alcoholism affects highly educated people too. A few years back, if anybody was to ask me who is an alcoholic, I would say that an alcoholic is that rat person down the street, living on the street, with long hair, not having bath for many days. So such was my picture of an alcoholic. But today, after working in close association with families of alcoholics, I have realized that alcoholic can be anybody. He can be of any strata of society. Educated person, an uneducated person, a very rich person, a very poor person. So alcoholism affects anyone and anybody. Alcoholism. What is alcoholism to me? Alcoholism is also known as a family disease. An alcoholic is not just a single person living in society. An alcoholic may have young, teenage or grown-up children. They have wives, they have husbands, they have brothers, they have sisters, they have parents and they have other relatives. An alcoholic can totally disrupt family life and cause harmful effects that can last a lifetime. Alcoholism is responsible for more family problems than any other single cause. Each member of the family may be affected by alcohol differently. There is something called parental alcoholism. Parental alcoholism is when a mother drinks, she can give birth to a child with abnormalities. We saw a clipping of a woman drinking alcohol when she was pregnant. So it has a tendency of giving birth to a child with abnormalities. Then there are parental alcoholism also severely affects normal children of alcoholics. The children might be born normally, but if one of the parent is drinking, then it severely affects the normal children of alcoholics. Many of these children have common symptoms such as low self-esteem, loneliness, guilt, feelings of helplessness, fears of abandonment, and chronic depression. Children of alcoholics may feel responsible for the problems of the alcoholic and may think that they have created the problem. These children often experience high level of tension and stress. Young children of alcoholics may have frequent nightmares, bedwetting and crying. They also may not have friends and may be afraid to go to school. The older children of alcoholics may show such depressive symptoms such as obsessive perfectionism, hoarding, staying by themselves, or being excessively self-conscious. Studies have shown that because children of alcoholics feel that they are different from other people, they develop a very poor self-image in which they closely resemble the alcoholic parents. Also, teenage children of alcoholic may develop different phobias. These children often have problems in schools. The stressful environment at home prevents them from studying. Their school performance may also be affected by inability to express themselves. Often these children have difficulty in establishing relationship with teachers and classmates. These children have such behavioral problems like lying, stealing, fighting. These children live in extremely unstable home environments. They never know what to expect from an alcoholic parent. Because they are unable to predict their parents' mood, they don't know how to behave themselves. Because crime and violence are associated with alcoholism, incest and battering are common in alcoholic families. Incest and battering victims often blame themselves for what has happened. Because they feel so guilty, ashamed and helpless, they themselves may turn to drinking as the way to escape the pain. In short, I would like to say that children of alcoholics are people who have been robbed of their childhood. This is a fact. If these children of alcoholics, as children, if they are untreated, they can carry these problems into their later life. Now we have adult children of alcoholics. Children born in a family of alcoholics and then going into adulthood. These people often don't relate their problems to have grown up in a family with an alcoholic parent. Many of them have problems of depression, aggression or impulsive behavior. These problems show up later in life. Having lived with an alcoholic, these problems show up later in life. Some studies have shown that adult children of alcoholics have problems with abuse of different psychoactive substances and difficulty in establishing healthy relationship with others. They have frequent failures as parents themselves. They often make poor career choices, and almost all of these adult children have a negative self-image. Adult children of alcoholics often have feelings of worthlessness and failure. They may also have problems with family responsibility because their alcoholic parent was irresponsible and didn't provide them with basic children needs. Many of these adult children of alcoholics have problems with intimacy because their previous experience has taught them not to trust other people. They may also think that if they love someone, this person will hurt them in the future, just as the alcoholic parent did. Unfortunately, research has shown that many of these adult children of alcoholics often find themselves intimately involved with someone who is either an alcoholic or in some way abusive. These adult children of alcoholics are 4 times more likely than children of non-alcoholics to develop alcoholism. Genetic factors play a major role in the development of alcoholism. Another factor is inability to deal with stress in a healthy way. I would like to come to the spouse or partner of an alcoholic, how they are affected. Alcoholism has a transforming effect on the spouse or partner that can create significant mental trauma and physical health problems. Alcoholism also has negative effects on the spouse of an alcoholic. The spouse may have feelings of hatred, self-pity, avoidance of social contacts, may suffer exhaustion and become physically or mentally ill. Very often the spouse has to perform the role of both the parents. Family responsibilities shift from two parents to one parent. As a result, the non-alcoholic parent may be inconsistent, demanding, and often neglect the children. Having financial difficulties is another issue that the families of alcoholics have to deal with. The family may have to give up certain privileges because of the large amount of money spent on alcohol and also possible joblessness. Alcoholism is a major factor of premature widowhood. Alcoholism is also one of the major reasons for divorce. Family and marital problems often start because of alcoholism. In some cases, the spouses and children may contribute to the drinker's habit and make it worse. Some of the families allow heavy drinking to continue rather than deal with serious family problems and keep the habit going in exchange for keeping the family together. Denial is an essential problem for alcoholics and the family members. Family members use denial to rationalize the drinker's alcohol dependency. In the beginning, denial is understandable because every family loves and wants to protect its members. But there comes a time when denial negatively affects family members. When family members deny the obvious and refuse to look for help, this behavior can trigger multiple emotional problems in the children of the family. Members of alcoholic family very often become codependent. Codependency is an unconscious addiction to another person's abnormal behavior. Most of the alcoholics have periods when they stop drinking for a short while and seems to do well, leading the codependent person to believe that the problem can be solved. Often people who don't know the alcoholic very well don't suspect any problem. The alcoholic's codependent family members do everything possible to hide the problem, preserve the family's prestige, and project the image of a perfect family. The spouse and children may avoid making friends and bringing other people home in order to hide problems caused by alcoholism. Codependent members often forget about their own needs and desires. They devote their lives to attempt to control or cure the drinker. Unknowingly, codependent family members often become enablers. An enabler is a person who unknowingly helps the alcoholic by denying the drinking problem exists and helping the alcoholic to get out of the troubles caused by his drinking. The enabler will clean up the alcoholic's vomit and make excuses to his or her boss, teacher or friends. The enabler lies for the alcoholic and thus enables the alcoholic to continue drinking. So in conclusion, I would like to say that alcohol affects each and every member of the family, from the unborn child to the alcoholic spouse. Its far-reaching effects result is not only physical problems for the alcoholics, but also may result in grave physical and psychological problems for the other members of the family. I thank Jamaat-e-Islami Hind for giving me this opportunity to present my paper. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Srimati Shirodkar. You have once again, thank you. And now I request Dr. Rajesh Patel to present his paper on health and rehabilitation.
Respected dignitaries, Thomasin sir, Nandakumar sir, it's a great pleasure today to come and discuss a topic which is very close to me. I will be discussing this short paper basically on three issues. One will be epidemiology. In epidemiology, I am going to tell the burden of alcoholism in Goa. Second will be what alcohol does to the body. And third, how can we get out of this alcoholism? And many people ask me, you are a surgeon, what are you doing with this? For the last 10 years I am working with Alcoholics Anonymous. And I with great pride call myself a friend of Alcoholics Anonymous. To tell you a small thing, as I take rounds in my ward. I'm a surgeon in a surgical ward, and most of my patients, out of the 30 beds, 20 of them are alcoholic patients. So when I ask this, when I take bed-to-bed history and ask them, "Are Baba, tu soro, kena soro re?" The patient, immediately tells me, "Doctor, soro." And kena kitli orsa zali, kitli moina? Na doctor munda, admit zala tenla chan soro. Now this is exactly what they say, not just cutting the thing apart. At the same time, what I see when I treat these patients and I send them home, and as they go home, I tell, "Look, Baba, तुगे बायल चोय, तुगे भुरगी ल्हान hai. So दोतोर तोकले रात दोन सांगता, गारा वसना आनी सोराक हात लायना." I tell you, back in 2 months, they are back in my ward with the same problem, and sometimes the problem is worse. This is alcoholism, my friends. An alcoholic is cunning, is baffling, he confuses everyone, and he continues with his addiction. Now, this is in short how my association starts with alcoholism. Now, first I will tell you the epidemiology. Just a short slide, and it says 60% of Indians, 60 million Indians, that's about 5% totally are alcoholics. It equals the population of France. 2/3 of us consume illegal, and more than half of drinkers in India fall in hazardous drinking category. Most of the patients tell me, "Doctor, maga hai problem na, I don't have this problem. I'm a social drinker. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not an addict." Who is supposed to tell me that? Who is going to tell me who is an alcoholic and who is not an alcoholic? So this means half of us are in the dangerous category. Alcohol-related problems account for more than 1/5 of hospital admissions, 18% of psychiatric admissions, and more than 20% of head injuries. 60% of all injuries reporting to our casualty in Goa Medical College are directly or indirectly as a result of alcohol intoxication. A small study was conducted at the Neem Hands in Karnataka, and they saw that the amount of money a person would spend on alcohol sometimes is much more than what they earn. How do they make that money? That money is made by selling things, that money is made by robbing, misappropriations, and all sorts of illegalities in each one's life. Now let me draw your attention to the statistics at our own Goa Medical College. I've been a consultant there for more than 20 years, and I've just taken statistics for the last 2 years. Look here. On an average, we have about 56 to 60,000 admissions in a year. And I just went through the medical records department, and each month we discuss the cause of deaths. And what we find here, in 2011, there were 2,602 deaths. And the number of deaths that were related to alcohol were 450, whereas in the just concluded year 2012, 2,700 odd deaths due to all possible reasons, and the alcohol related deaths are 610. So friends, let me draw your attention that 30%, 28 to 30% of deaths are directly or indirectly related to alcohol. Look at the burden on our society. Look at the burden at the Goa Medical College. Tell me one thing, what should I treat? I'm a cancer surgeon also. Should I treat cancers? Should I treat alcohol-related deaths? Cancers may or may not be prevented. But yes, we can do something and prevent alcohol-related deaths. Now, some more statistics in Goa. Now this is again very, very important and dear to us. Look here now. 90% people drink alcohol in some way. We are not interested in that. But this 40% of people are chronic alcoholics. And 12% women in Goa are also chronic alcoholics. Here one very interesting things come to my mind. And that is whenever I ask history for my lady patients, "Soro geta ge?" They say no. Then you ask again, "Kharench घ्याना soro हे कशें जालें गे? कामीन कशी जाली?" "ना दोतोर म्हणटा थोडो थोडो रातचो 20 वर्सां घेता." A night care. You see, so in Goa, alcohol is treated like this. An average age of initiation has dropped from 19 years to 13 years. This is, my friends, very, very alarming. I have been going to large number of schools. I am talking with large number of college students. And what I find today, is people, students, college students are starting with alcoholism at a little younger age too. 13 years is not a time. Now how do I confirm this? When we get patients admitted in Goa Medical College with a complication of alcoholism, it takes at least 5 or 7 years for a complication to develop, especially in the liver. So that boy gets admitted at the age of 22, 23. So you are sure he has started at the age of 14 or 15 alcohol. Now this is what is happening in this state of Goa. Yes, no one is spared. Alcoholism is a universal disease. Everybody is over here. Doctors, bankers, holy men, lawyers, police and politicians. I've gone to 24 police stations. Yesterday was the last one I visited, and I was very happy to find our large number of police force are not taking alcohol. I told them I'm very surprised, because we went to each police station to give a talk and interviewed all the constables over there, and a considerable number are not taking alcohol. That was very, very heartening for me. Now, high functioning alcoholics. Let me draw your attention here, sir. High functioning alcoholics. And in these high functioning alcoholics, I put myself. I put a doctor. I put a corporate person. Because I'm not going to hit the rock bottom. I'm going to have a lot of money. I'm going to do my job very well. But when I reach home, I'm a compulsive drinker. I'm going to drink in the house. Next day morning, have a bath, fresh, come, operate, do my work perfectly. Go back home, drink again. And these are called high functioning alcoholics. We are job givers, so nobody can throw me out of job. So high functioning alcoholics. I'm not going to accept, I'm going to be in a stage of denial. I don't have a disease of alcoholism, so more difficult to treat. So today in Goa, with the elite society, with high income groups, the bigger problem is high functioning groups. Let me tell you. A poor man, no money, on the roads, I will get him out of alcoholism much faster than a rich guy with a lot of money and plenty of power. This is the paradox. Now, another very drunkorexia. This is a small term that is coined. It means in college students, a new fashion has started. You drink and you don't eat, or unhealthy eating habits with lot of drinks. Nowadays, college students, they get a lot of pocket money. So this money is then spent on drinking instead of eating healthy. So when you don't eat properly and you drink a lot, you end up in some state called as drunkorexia, which has got a lot of psychological problems and all your grades in the school to go down. Now that's about epidemiology. Now we come back to health hazards here. There is not a single system in the body which is not affected by alcoholism. I'll be giving very few examples. Please take the gastrointestinal system. We get esophageal varices in our food pipe. We get dilated veins because of portal hypertension. We get ulcers, and these ulcers bleed like this, and they bleed continuously. At the right time, if you come to the hospital, we can do a little bit by putting a small current over there and stopping the bleed. We get something called as reflux esophagitis. The acid that is present in the stomach gets refluxed. You may get a sour taste in the mouth. We get irritations on the next day. All these discomforts, gastric discomforts that we have are as a result of alcohol intake. Next thing is very, very common in Goa is pancreatitis. In India, or especially Goa, the cause of acute pancreatitis, 90% is alcohol, whereas in the West, 90% is not alcohol, other causes, metabolic causes, so many drugs, so many other causes. But in Goa, alcoholism is the major cause of acute pancreatitis. Now, hepatobiliary problems. See here, liver. Liver is such a beautiful, nice organ, smooth and all. But when you take alcohol, it starts getting stored. It starts getting converted into acetaldehyde. It works on the liver. And ultimately, after 6 or 7 years, you start getting nodules in the liver, and we call them liver cirrhosis. This is the time patient is going to develop jaundice. This is the time patient is going to develop portal hypertension. What is portal hypertension? The liver weeps. In reality, if you see the liver, a lot of fluid comes from the surface of the liver and you start getting portal hypertension. There's fluid in the belly. An alcoholic is thin man with a big belly and he's got fluid in the abdominal cavity. And ultimately, in between these nodules, 10 years down the line, you could get hepatocellular carcinomas or liver tumors. It affects the brain, and this brain is the first thing that it affects. You get alcoholic blackouts, peripheral neuropathies, and amnesias. Many a times you must have seen people just shaking like this. And early morning before going to office, I've seen a lot of people going to the bar, 6 a.m. Otherwise they cannot start. That is because of peripheral neuropathies. And this is how alcohol attacks the brain. And now the cancers come into picture. Large number of cancers. In a small state of Goa, the amount of breast cancers and other cancers that we see is tremendous. Friends, let me tell you today, we are number 1 in breast cancers in Goa. In entire India, cervix cancer is more. But in Goa, our number 1 cancer is breast cancer. So what I did was, I took my 50 consecutive patients of breast cancer and I analyzed their diet. I saw them, what do you eat? How much exercise you do? What is your physical exercise? How much vegetables you take? Do you take alcohol? Let me tell you, sir, 50 ladies consecutive patients that I operated, 8 of them were chronic alcoholics. I presented this data in Delhi and they were shocked, your men also drinking and women also drinking. 8% of alcoholism we could find among ladies. Then this is a very small thing. On an average, about 200 odd new cancer, breast cancer patients. Now if I take your note to Harrison's textbook of medicine, this is my Bible. Chapter 386 says incidence is 10 times higher than general population. You get the stomach cancers, tongue cancers, breast cancers and cheek cancers. Apart from these, you get pancreatic cancers. Alright? So this is the way alcohol affects cancers. Now violent behavior among alcoholics. Now this is very, very common. As I am giving a talk here, somewhere down in our state somebody is putting a knife in someone. It's not unusual. Per week, at least 4 or 5 patients come to Goa Medical College and we get operated. Now these are the patients whom I have myself taken photographs. We just put a knife inside, intestines come out. We operate them nicely, heal them well, and before going tell them, okay Baba, don't drink alcohol, huh? But they go back and drink alcohol. So this is the reason why I am here. Somewhere our medical is falling short. We need treatment outside the medical college. Physically you can treat this disease. Mental and spiritual disease treatment is required. Then it's only possible to control this menace of alcoholism. Drinking and driving, 60% of injuries coming to Goa Medical College are under influence of alcohol. Now, let me just tell you in short, what are these addictive drugs? We know about drugs and drugs. A very simple classification is narcotics, stimulants, depressants, hallucinogens, cannabis, and volatile solvents. Many a times, when you take your car to the petrol station, so many people like the smell of petrol. I should think why. I was going through this petrol, you can just smell and it gives you a kick. And some people start getting addicted to petrol. And this is volatile solvents. And this is classified now as one of the drug abusers. Okay? Narcotic analgesics could be opium, morphine, codeine, different ways to take it. And these are the various effects that it can cause. I'll just go fast through this. Stimulants, amphetamines, which can be taken oral, cocaines can be snorted, and they stimulate all your brain and everything. Depressants, barbiturates, these are all hypnotics, alcohol, and the effects are the relief from it. These are all short-term effects. And when you continue taking them, they can create a lot of problems and chronic addiction. Hallucinogens, LSDs, PCPs, mescalines, and again they give rise to pseudo-hallucinations and alterations of mood, sense of direction, distance and time. Cannabis, we all know. What are these cannabis? Again they give rise to all these things. And volatile solvents like petrol, it can cause euphoria, slurred speech, hallucination, sometimes even sudden deaths. Tobacco smoking, lot of bad effects of tobacco smoking. This nicotine can cause everything what alcohol can cause. And together, they are great brothers, they can kill faster. Drug abuse, apart from the drug, the mode with which the drug is taken can also give rise to various complications. Now if you take intravenous, you can get a lot of these IV problems. And the worst among them is hepatitis B because of the needles. Smoking, inhalation, chasing can give rise to chronic bronchitis and respiratory infections. Nutritional deficiencies can be there. Now, because your immune status comes down, you could suffer from silent tuberculosis and certain overdose and intoxicated state. You can have certain other complications. Now, this will finish with a health problems. Now, how will you come out of this? Rehabilitation. Now, look here. We have a family, we have a doctor, we have an employer, we have individuals. As a family role, as a man in the family, I must see my children, my wife, my brothers, sisters, my parents. Is there some problem in the family going? Is there difference, lack of interest in the family from the spouse? The doctor's role is very important here. Sometimes we don't do our role properly. 20% of illnesses which come to a general practitioner are somewhere related to alcohol. A doctor may not tell sometimes. Sometimes he's scared of losing a patient. But let me tell you, sir, 20% of problems are directly related. And on your part, please tell the doctor that you take a little drink, because he'll never think in that way otherwise. He'll only think of a medical way and he'll think of giving you medications. A simple advice. If you have very minor hypertension, stopping your alcohol intake can bring your BP normal. As simple as that. Instead of that, you don't tell a doctor you take alcohol and this side he starts with your antihypertensives. So one side you're taking alcohol, other side you're taking antihypertensives. This makes no sense. So just telling your doctor you take a little bit of alcohol, he may not give you any medications. So this is it. And lastly, employer's role. Wherever you work in the office, as a chief, we must look into our subordinates, our colleagues and our seniors also. If we find some abnormal things happening, better we report and tell them personally. And an individual's role, if I come to know I have a problem, where do I go? I must go fight certain NGOs. Jamaat-e-Islami is there. Other NGOs are there. But I am very closely related in working with Alcoholics Anonymous. These are the people who go out of their way to help. So I am proud to tell you that this is one organization which does not take money from anybody. It survives on itself, and it has survived for the last 75 years in the world, and it is surviving for 39 years in Goa. This is Alcoholics Anonymous. What is Alcoholics Anonymous? It is a simple organization of males and females who just help each other. They share what has happened in their life. They share the misery of what they're suffering. And by sharing, the person who listens identifies with the problem. This is the house where it all began in 1935, where a surgeon, Bill W., and another stockbroker were there. And they just exchanged with each other. Both of them were alcoholics. And they just spoke with each other. And when they spoke with each other, they suddenly realized for the time that they were not speaking, they had not taken a drink. So this is how this chain reaction, one-to-one reaction started, and it was called as Alcoholics Anonymous. Today Alcoholics Anonymous has reached Goa. In Goa we have 15, in North Goa we have 15 Alcoholics Anonymous groups. In South Goa we have about 50 Alcoholics Anonymous groups. About 2 years back we had an international conference in Margao. This picture tells us that this is one organization where there is no religion. Everybody is welcome in this. All the gurus were there. Each one gave us valuable inputs. And today we are serving these people all over Goa. We visit a lot of schools, we visit a lot of colleges. We have just finished visiting 24 police stations and we intend to go furthermore. I just want to draw your attention to this one video.
जन्मदिन, शादी, होली और न्यू ईयर ईद जैसे खास मौकों पर तो रुकने का नाम ही नहीं लेते। और यही बेलगाम नशा कई बार खुशी के दिन को हादसे में बदल देता है। देश के कई अस्पतालों में हमारी टीम ने दौरा किया और हर जगह हमें शराब से मची तबाही नजर आई।
हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट हो जाते हैं। 30 से 40% जो है अल्कोहल रिलेटेड हमारे केसेस आते
idea of showing this video is very simple, sir. In Satyameva Jayate, within 5 minutes, Alcoholics Anonymous got 20,000 calls. And within 1 week, there were 2 lakh calls. Till today, we are returning the calls, each one at 1-to-1 level. This is my last slide. And what I want to tell in this slide is every institution, every place, every office, wherever a lot of people meet, can have a small group of like-minded people with a common goal. And that could be away from any addiction. Here it is alcohol addiction. This is my ward 111. And in this ward, on every Saturday, we run a small group over here. And a very simple thing I do over here. Every patient who has got a problem of alcoholism, I see that he and his family attend one meeting, understand that an alcoholic is not a bad man, an alcoholic is not a madman, but an alcoholic is a sick man. His sickness has to be identified and his sickness has to be treated. That's the only way to remain away from alcoholism. Thank you, sir.
On the day. This is working. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, as we are nearing time, I think we will have interaction, but for a shorter time, and therefore I would request the participants, if you have anything which is not properly clearly understood or you want more clarification, please direct your questions to our panelist. Yeah, give them the mic. This, yeah.
This is to Dr. Rajesh Patel. Sir, could you please elaborate on how this alcoholism is causally linked to breast cancer and lung cancer? Because I have never heard of this. I just want to know how exactly it causes.
There is a lot of research how alcohol can cause breast cancer. Alcohol ultimately is ethyl alcohol, which is metabolized to acetaldehyde. And this acetaldehyde acts like a co-carcinogen. Second thing is, in alcohol, if you are aware, there are a lot of additives that are put, and those are called as congeners. They also can increase the incidence of breast cancer. Now there is a study in Denmark, and this Denmark study states that if you consume alcohol more than 15 grams a day is carcinogenic. And it is dose related. Now what do we mean by dose related? As you increase your intake of alcohol in amount and volume, now volume is expressed as grams, your incidence further increases in breast cancer. In fact, they put the incidence something close to 30% usage.
Yeah. Anybody? Yes.
Hats off to you, doctor, for a very fine enumeration of the talk, very enlightening. You said, yes, okay. You said, doctor, there are two types of drinkers. One is a social drinker who says, no, we don't overdrink, we just socialize. And then there's a compulsive drinker. Where do you draw the line between the two? How do you define? There's a definition for every subject. Where do you draw the line between the social drinker and a compulsive drinker?
Honestly, sir, I wish I knew.
Make some beginning.
Yeah. What happens is, basically there are, you can classify drinkers into three types. First is a social drinker, second are called hard drinkers, and third are addicts or chronic drinkers. A social drinker is one who drinks only sometimes. He drinks little amounts. He doesn't continue drinking. A very arbitrary definition. And hard drinker is one who will drink one day in a year, but that day you have to carry him home. But next day you offer him alcohol, he's not going to take it. So that's a hard drinker. And a chronic drinker is one who does not see anything beyond alcohol. He has to drink in the morning to start his work. He has to drink in the afternoon. He has to drink in the night. And he has to drink in between. And he has to drink at 4 a.m. also. So this is a chronic drinker. Now how you know the difference between all these three? There are certain guidelines available. There is something called as a questionnaire of 20 questions. And to give you an example of this questionnaire, number one is, do you like to drink when you're alone? First question. Second question. Has anyone told you that your drinking is more? Third question. Are you under any road rage when you are taking when you are under influence of alcohol? Is there any road rage with you? Do you drive a vehicle? Like this, there are 20 questions, And if you mark tick any 4, it could be considered as a chronic drinker. This is an arbitrary thing. But there is no test, there is no blood test, there is no scan, nothing which can tell you are a social drinker or a chronic addict. And why do we say that? Because if I tell you, sir, 1 glass of milk is good for your health, you're going to be very good. After 6 months, will you drink 3 bottles of milk? No. Similarly, if I tell you 1 glass of beer is good for you today, after 6 months, sir, you will be definitely, at least out of 100, 40 will be with 3 or 4 bottles of beer. So this is addiction. So this is the reason why it is very, very difficult. You have to ask your own conscience where to stop and where not to stop. But if you are taking it for some health reasons, as a doctor, my advice is a big no. If you are just taking it because of peer pressure, then it's a question that has to be answered by self. But there are no parameters to know when that thin line is crossed between social drinking and chronic addiction. Because it just takes you. We all have to believe and we all have to accept that alcoholism is a disease of denial. Here a man denies that he's got a disease. This is the reason it is difficult to know when you become a social drinker and when you cross over into a chronic addict.
Yeah. My question, I'm Roland Martins from Goa. My question to Dr. Patil is, you've presented very incisive data about the extent of alcoholism. I'm in touch with the Directorate of Health Services and I'm trying to understand how the primary health centers, sub-centers in different villages across the state of Goa function. What I don't find is any mention of alcoholism or alcohol as a problem at any of these places in terms of the program of DHS, Director of Health Services. So I just wanted to know whether has the government ever asked you, or Dr. Jindal has just now mentioned about the accident thing. Has any of this data got into a kind of a policy statement where Director of Health Services would address the issue of alcoholism from a health point of view? Because there seems to be a mismatch. GMC has got all the information, is making clear-cut statements about what the problem is. But I seem to find that this does not match. There is a campaign on tobacco. And I understand that campaign on tobacco works because money comes from the center. So if you could throw light on why we don't have a DHS sort of champion kind of campaign on alcohol.
Basically, why such a thing is not all over Goa? This is the question. No? I believe in one thing. If I force something on others, it never works. So we have made a small beginning in my own ward. In the last 2 years, I've been able to convince the doctors from my department, surgery department. Now slowly and slowly the doctors from Goa Medical College are coming into the ambit. Now once this happens over a period of time, we want to go, at least me, along with Alcoholics Anonymous, want to go to major district hospitals, North and South Goa, and then to major primary health centers. This is a big campaign and it is taken up in a phased manner. In the coming weeks, we are going to meet the health minister and then present to him the statistics. Because we thought without having any statistics in hand, having first-hand knowledge, we are unable to convince somebody. It's very, very difficult. Wherever I go to talk, they say, it's like this. This is the thing in thing. So I really believe in changing myself first and then telling others what may be good or what may be bad. So now we are going to go ahead and tell this to the health department, and then we want to give a planned strategy how we should tackle each of the primary health centers, first the district hospitals, then the primary health centers. And we want some groups to start in this. But I tell you sir, it's very easy to start a group, but to sustain it is just impossible. Let me tell you sir, today if I finish this at 4 o'clock in the evening, 4:30 I'll be going to medical college. I'm not required to go there after office hours. But 4:30 I'll be going there, and last 2 years I've been doing it. Otherwise it just doesn't sustain. So this type of people also you'll have to find in different, and then you can actually start these things. But by forcing, it doesn't survive for a long time.
Dr. Patel, my name is Kejas Vedo. First of all, congratulations on a very good presentation and this campaign. All the best. I just want to know what's the statistics for teenage alcoholics in Goa? Male and female, you got to pick up?
No, I'll not be able to make it teenage. But in the last 1 year, but I tell you, it's very difficult to make these statistics. It's very tough. What statistics I am showing here is a hard copy of the death statistical report. Of this death statistical report. Of this, 92% are male and 8% are females. Only that much I can tell you. Now, if you ask me in general, 70,000 admissions in a year, it's tough.
My question is, particularly referring to the youngsters, because you said, I was watching this, during your presentations. It says that one of the slides said that it has dropped, age has dropped from.
Yes, this is my personal experience. I've gone to schools, and to tell you something, in one South Goa school, we found one girl carrying alcohol in a water bottle for interval.
How old is she?
She was 7th standard.
7th standard, to be around
13, 14. 13, 14. Now, and I'm told now we're going to some school in North Goa, Shivolim school, and somewhere there again a similar problem right from there. There is a small hamlet in Sattari, Saksai, where everybody in the village drinks and the parents also encourage children drinking. So this sort of a problem exists, we cannot close our eyes to it. So this is the reason why I'm telling it's come down definitely from 19 to 30 years.
I just wanted to know anyone has got any statistics on the number of this youngsters' age?
Tell me the way to find it. I'll do it. It's not possible.
Okay, the last question.
This is not a question. Basically, state government has already taken action against sachets of alcohol which were being this one, and there has been a lot of positive action on tobacco control. But I was always asking them, what is more dangerous, alcohol or tobacco? Because you cannot have a sort of a scale. Just now I sent a SMS. Both myself and Dr. Shekhar Sarkar are member of Goa State Planning Board, and the Planning Board positively considers long-term solutions with financial and technical and logistic support from Planning Commission of India. So I have asked the Planning Board to invite you and give a 15 minutes presentation to this body which will meet in February sometimes. And they have asked for the details. But most important, since you talked about the solution or the strategy, we should have short-term interventions and long-term interventions. Because everywhere, governments and local authorities look for revenue. Any source, immoral, unethical, if it is permitted by law, has become now a revenue generation source, which basically is, corroding the very foundation of democracy. So you have to be very assertive, because the board is chaired by the Chief Minister, and all ministers are present there, all important MLAs are present, and all officers are present. Besides, I invite you to also submit a detailed long-term plan for financial support to conduct the studies, statistics, etc. And please forward me a copy so that I can take it forward.
Here we end with the interactive session.
Dear friends, I think the time has gone quite ahead, and I am trying to finish it up within a very short time. First of all, we saw 3 presentations. The effect of alcoholism and drug addiction on students and youth, family life and women, and then the health part of it by Dr. Rajesh Patel. The most important thing that we have come across through all these presentations is that alcoholism as well as drug addiction destroy the families. It is not doing any good to us. It is not only happening in the case of individual, but the whole family gets affected. Not only the family, the surroundings gets affected. Your workplace is affected, wherever you are working, your the other activities that you are doing, there also it affects badly, and as a result, many times, many people have lost their jobs because of alcoholism, drug addiction. Losing of jobs becomes a financial problem to the family, and then all sorts of disturbances in the family takes place. In case of, I am coming from a area which is a coastal belt where a lot of things of this nature takes place. The drug addiction has produced criminals. First of all, the drugs are supplied by criminals, and afterwards the one who carries them and uses them, they also turn out to be criminals, because you need a lot of money for that, and in order to get that money, I have seen young boys taking the chain of the mother, golden chain of the mother, taking whatever money is from inside. In other words, the whole family become helpless, and as a result, instead of getting any improvement in the house, the situation worsens and all misery in the house takes place. Now, there are many ways in which we can reduce this effect. Rehabilitation, Dr. Patil was saying, but we are doing this for the last so many years, for decades, and nothing has happened. Have we at least prevented to some extent? Now, even the statistic that is shown by Dr. Rajesh Patel, in 2009, there are only 400 and odd deaths due to alcoholic connection, and 2011 over 600. That means we are increasing. What is the way out? And I feel, to make it very short, I feel that the value system in our families have to be strengthened. Value system, and the parents should be the real role models for their children. You know, we say that teachers at certain level, but we must also see that the students are with the teachers hardly 4 or 5 hours, whereas they spend another 18 hours of the day with their parents. And therefore, it is very important to see that the parents spend quality time with the children, which is not happening today. Husband is working, wife is working, When they come home after their workplace, they are tired. They are not bothered about the studies of the children. They are not bothered about what the children want. Everything is given to the maid to look after. And because of this, many a time, our system, the living system, has become hopeless one, and that is the reason the incidence of alcoholism and drug addiction goes on increasing day by day. And therefore, how best, as one of the paper readers said, every individual must act in whatever way possible to see that he contributes to some extent for the decreasing of this type of incidents. And I think I must congratulate Jamaat-e-Islami Hind for organizing this. This is not a simple task. It is a very difficult task. And this task, if not cornered, if not controlled now, it can be a major tsunami in times to come. Because finally, what we need, a good society. A good society can be there if there are only good citizens. And if we want there to be good citizens, then we will have to try those qualities, those values that make good citizens to be inculcated among the children. And for that, first and primary institution will be the institution of family. I think there should be concerted efforts. I also understand that today you cannot avoid husband and wife working. It is the need of the hour. But under these circumstances, how best the husband and the wife, the parents, can give time to their children, a qualitative time which can change their life for better. Dear friends, as I told you, it's a very, very serious matter. In Goa, alcoholism is taken as way of life. Although we are afraid of cancer and other diseases, we are not afraid of alcoholism at all, because we feel that it is the way of life. This mindset has to be changed, and it is very important. And until and unless we change this mindset, the number of alcohol-related deaths will never get reduced. The disturbances there won't be peace and harmony in the families, and the society will be struggling day after day just to maintain itself because of internal disturbance created by the own members of the society. I hope there will be some ways and better ways, as I feel the family should be the main institution to create the atmosphere in the house so that the children grows with good values which can help us to produce good citizens. Once again, I thank Jamaat-e-Islami for calling me here and requesting me to chair this session. And I wish them all the best in their endeavor to de-addict Goa. Thank you.
Go beyond this and bring in a change in policies and in sensitizing people at large in the Goan society. Apart from words, we would like to thank the eminent speakers of this session. With mementos, I request the State Secretary, State General Secretary Sheikh Zainuddin to kindly do the honors. At first, I request him to honor Mr. Tomazino Cardozo for being here as a chairperson of this session. Dr. Ryan for his paper presentation on Zainuddin Sahab. Kindly felicitate Dr. Ryan for his paper presentation on students and youth. and Mrs. Smita Shirodkar for a presentation on family life and women. And Dr. Rajesh Patil for the presentation on health and rehabilitation. I once again thank all the speakers and dignitaries for your presence in this session and enlightening the participants, and we hope that the message will go much louder from this seminar. Thank you once again.